to the operator, what do you do with the fuel which has already been contaminated? Thank you.
You mention your name and where you're coming from.
Thank you very much, the various presenters. My name is Jackson Otim, the physical planner for this local government. I'll raise concern or questions to the first presenter, Disen. In your presentation, you made mention of a fuel station and a service station. Well, you left out one. Single pumps, all the so-called fuel pumps that are mushrooming in every trading centers in this country. The question is now, are the qualities of fuel dispensed in those pumps monitored? Do they have operation licenses? Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Andrew Moses Awine, District Chairperson Kole. I'm grateful to Minister of Energy, UNBS, for this stakeholders engagement. I have one or two comments. One, I'm very grateful for expanding on stakeholders sensitization, and then also dissemination of this very important information. I am aware that the task at the headquarters, especially UNBS, is too much on your side, and the ratio of your staff to the numbers of stations countrywide is quite wide. And having handy informations like this given to the stakeholders require you to provide a flow of information between you, the leaders, and then the customers. And so here we have the leaders, we have the police. My issue is, one, you would need to have a reporting mechanism that if, for example, a client has got an issue in relationship to all the presentations you've made here, it can be sent to through a call center, and then the office within that region responds. So that would reduce. And then two, you put the checklist of common documents that individual station holders are supposed to have, so that you have here the physical planners, you have the DPCs, so that periodically they can set timelines to be moving and checking, so that in terms of enforcing regulations, they are helping to make sure that the stations that are operating without the legal framework either stopped, or the report is sent forward for proper handling by the office. And then lastly, we have had, for example, and I think this, I don't know how this can be handled. We have had, in the process of transportation of fuel, either those that are in transit or those that are going to be consumed within the country, there are always those cases of accidents where either the fuel trucks, because of accident, fall, and communities, because of some presenters say tough economy in which we are in, people end up there. We've seen so many scenarios where a number of people get in. I am wondering whether in the transportation there is a monitoring mechanism from the border, considering the distance that the fuel trucks are moving. So in monitoring, scenarios involving accidents and those other things are reported to the nearby police stations or the authority for proper control. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And my name is Paul Mboki, Deputy Chief Administrative Officer, Apache District Local Government. I want to thank you for the presentation. I rise on a few issues. One, you did present very well, and in the issues of non-compliance, you presented the Eastern region being the highest in the challenges of compliance. I wanted to know the range of compliance, because you presented the northern region being the lowest, actually being compliant to the very great extent, but you have not reflected what is the compliance range that we can club, whether we are doing well or we are doing badly. But on the other part, if Eastern is high in non-compliance, have you established what could be the reasons why they are not complying to the standards? That is one. Two, if we talk about provision of licenses is a reserve of the commissioner, and we are the local governments operating the systems that are running up and down many times with this that my colleague behind there has mentioned, cropping up petrol stations. What is our role as local governments in this matter, other than doing the issues of operational taxes in terms of licensing? Because they are coming up, and many times fuel stations are coming up, one pump in someone's household, but we can't stop them. Our environment officers have gone into inspections, but they tell you, we are being licensed by the center. Who is doing it, and do the center come to ground to know where someone is erecting a petrol station or a fuel pump? I thank you.
Let's take one more, and then we respond, then we shall go
Yeah,
on
thank
another
you very much. My name is Patrick Elvis from Apache Municipal Council. I have only one observation to make. First of all, I thank you for the presentations. What I have is that I have heard that the operators who don't comply are penalized. But I have not heard what direct interventions are there to protect the consumers from these people who are selling bad products. Because my assumption is that whenever they are found to be selling bad products, they are finalized, right? But they are still allowed to continue to sell their products. Thank you very much.
We shall take all your concerns and questions in batches, but let's first respond to those ones we have received so that we don't lose the track. I'll make some comments and answers to some, and then my colleagues also will add on from what you have raised. Now, one has mentioned contaminated fuel. What do you do to those fuel that has failed? It was also echoed by another of what direct interventions are taken to those non-compliant retail stations. Now, I gave you a series of what happens the first time of when your station is found non-compliant, what we do. Now, when we find it non-compliant, let's say petrol or diesel, we seal off that facility with respect to that particular product. Then we take samples to our main laboratory, we assess the penalties, and from the samples we have taken to our laboratory, we carry out comprehensive analysis to categorize how much it has failed and what type of fail. There are two main types of fail. One due to adulteration, and the other one which is due to dumping or smuggled product. Now, from our testing, once we have found out that it is the second lot, it meets the quality, but the marker which SICPA put has been diluted. From that one, we can compute the percentage of dumped product that was in that location. And when we compute that percentage of how much was dumped or smuggled in that retail station, we write a report, we forward to URA to do tax assessment. Now, URA comes, audits the system to find out how much this person has been dumping product or smuggling in product from his stock. They do an audit, let's say for 6 months, and they quantify, and then they levy tax that person to pay for all those products which were found dumped or smuggled into that state stations. And when they finish, the person pays the penalty, pays to URA the taxes. On top of the penalty we have given him, and after paying the taxes, then URA writes back to us that this person has cleared the taxes. Then we go back and do what we call upgrade. Upgrade at that level, we add in the marker, top up the right concentration of the marker of that product, and that person is allowed to sell because that product was meeting the requirement of the standard, but it was found with dumped or smuggled product. The other category where we have that it did not meet the standard, we penalize that person depending on the volume which was found at his location. After penalizing and when he has paid for the first time, we do what we call fuel upgrade on that product. How is it done? It is, we compute how much good product is supposed to buy to add in so that it can upgrade to the right specification of the standard. It's like we have found you with the, I use a lake example, a product of milk with a lot of water. We add in more milk to bring it to the right standard of the right quantity of tea you are supposed to take. The same way we do for pure products. We don't dump them anywhere. We ask that person to buy a certain good quality product so that we bring up the specification to the right standard at his cost. And when he complies with that, we upgrade the product, we add in the marker, and we allow him to sell. Now, if it happens again, that's where those rules takes place. Suspension, revocation of license, and removing with this license. That's what we normally do when we find locations with non-compliant product. I'll ask my colleague to respond. Single pump. Yeah, the quality. When we are doing our quality monitoring, whether it's a single pump, whether it's a big station, as long as you are selling product to the consumer, we reach all those stations, whether single pump. And I gave you, with the capacity we have at the moment, we do it once a month. At the moment, 86% of the retail stations in the country, we are able to cover them. But we are building capacity by acquiring more vehicles so that we can reach every deep part of the country. As I have shown you, we have zoned the country, and every region has a mobile lab every month to reach those even single pump, whether licensed or not, whether at whatever status, as long as he's selling a product, the consumer. We reach out to those pumps and monitor the quality of product in those pumps. That's to do with the contamination fuel and then single pumps. Expansion of awareness, we have done that one. We appreciate your comment. The reporting mechanisms from Kole and the role of the local authority, I think from our presentations we have mentioned that. If my colleagues have something to add on from what we have received, yes sir, can we receive the microphone? Chiguli, do you have anything to add on? Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chitimbo. I think the issues which have been raised are single pumps recognized to serve people with fuel. When I was telling you about how many categories of stations we have, I talked of filling station and service station. The single pumps, I don't run them. Now the issue is, are they licensed? No. But the question would go also to local government. Have you issued them with a building permit? Have you approved them? Have you approved their drawings? Do they have trading licenses? From our findings as a lead agency in licensing of petroleum facilities, we have discovered most of these, or 100% of these single pumps, they don't have our licenses, but they have a trading license. So we need to work together to eliminate these so-called single pumps. Sorry? To eliminate them. We are doing enforcement, but the challenge we have, when enforcement team, for example, moves in this direction of Lira, we wipe them out, but after 3 months when they come back, they find them when they're already operating again. So that's the challenge. And they are saying they have a trading licenses from local authorities. So that's a big challenge. So we need to work together to get rid of these so-called single pumps. No, the other issue was on the pumps. I think the question was, are they licensed? I think the point is, if you get any single pump with our license, I think you may have got it legally, but that's not our license. We don't license single pumps. And we license a station when it has been issued with approved plan. It should have been approved by local authorities first. That's the beginning of the process, as I've told you in my presentation.
Let me respond. There was Paul, deputy from Apache. He observed that from the eastern region, they have the high range of non-compliances. Why is it so that eastern has the highest number of non-compliances? As you are aware, eastern, most of our products come on through the Busia Malaba. We have 2 major routes. Now we have 3. The eastern region, eastern route, then we have the Mutukula route, and then Mahate. But apparently, as per now, the Mutukula is not so much effective in bringing product. Mahate is building up capacity. But most of our biggest percentage of our fuel coming in is through eastern region, through Busia and Malaba. And that's the eastern region. And now there is a temptation, especially with the transporters, siphoning of products which don't meet the product as these trucks deliver the products to the depot. Now, what mechanism have we done? We have increased our frequency, because as we have been monitoring most of those areas which have higher levels of non-compliance, as we are building capacity, we may not be there the whole time. You are there once a month. When you leave, they monitor that these people have left. They do their manyanga. But also we have learned. We leave and then we send another team to follow up. Because fuel is a fast moving product, and because of this cheap fuel they are getting through those porous routes, that's why we have managed to get so many non-compliance by our follow-up. They try, they monitor us, but also we have tried also to check on them abruptly, and we are able to get them every now and then. We have, in that regard, as we build capacity, our frequency in those regions where we are finding high levels of non-compliant, we are going to increase them. Instead of going once a month and then they sell bad product in the next week, we shall be there almost every week to be able to wipe out those devices. Because once we get those products, we penalize them, we follow them up, and then those which have been found repeatedly offenders, the commissioner takes action in terms of revoking and warning and removing the license. We shall have to reduce that type of non-compliance even in those regions. But because of the high volumes coming through in those routes of Eastern, temptations are high to tap some of those high volumes to sell which have not paid tax. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. The cow of patch, talk about the role of local government in all this. One, the Commissioner for Petroleum is responsible for licensing. But we have other roles like enforcing the physical plan for the district or for the local government. So the commissioner from Kampala would not decide that the petrol station is put in this place or not. No, for him to say, go and do business. But when it comes to you, local governments, you are supposed to be guided, to guide the business person on where to put that, because you have your own physical plan to be complied with. Two, the local government, environment officer, physical planner, is supposed also to ensure that the environment issues are addressed on the pump. So what I was saying that don't give away your mandate on other issues related to your business in the local government. Three, we've talked about the other businesses at these stations that can be part of our local revenue. Restaurants, we talked about supermarkets, those ones we can get some money out of it. Then, remember as local government we have mandate and we can use the legal framework to make bylaws and what? Ordinances. So you can address some of the challenges that you see being brought by this, using our mandate to make laws and ordinances to address the challenges that might be coming as a result of these businesses coming to our local governments. Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think the remaining aspect is on the range of compliance, which I think Peter will come back to. And so I will just respond to an issue of whether there is a monitoring system for transportation of fuel, let's say, in the country. To the best of my knowledge, URA puts electronic seals on transit fuel to ensure that it has exited our borders. Now, fuel that has paid the tax has gone through our normal borders, has been marked, and it is going to a certain destination within the country. Now there, the traceability of that truck that it left Maraba going to, let's say, Ginger, along the way, the owner of the fuel may see that my demand now is more the other side, and tell the driver, move that side and put on that station also, because it's the owner and is looking at the demand and the fuel, how it is moving. So in aspect of looking at really is there monitoring of fuel transport within the country, to the best of my knowledge, I don't think that we are doing that. And that would be too much of, not to say that is macro or management, but we've not done that. There was another aspect of checklist of documents. It may be provided, but at least, as my colleague has mentioned, some of the things are already in your powers, and you can be able to do that. Now, why I'm standing up is mainly on a few appeals to ensure that we can be able to move properly and to the different categories. Let me move in front so that now at least I'm seeing everybody. Appeal number one, no, appeal category one is to the oil marketing companies, and there are 3 appeals. My first appeal is that the oil marketing companies please adhere to the standards and procedures that are in place. If you know the requirements of obtaining certain documents, obtain them. You need to prove that you own land, have it. You need to have permission from UNRWA, or now Ministry of Works, for you to put access on the highway road or something, obtain it. You need to have the environmental impact assessment certificate, have it, so that we are able to move. So my appeal number one to the oil marketing companies is that please adhere to the standards and procedures. Second appeal, again to the oil marketing companies, is that to the extent possible, deal with only licensed companies. And I'm deliberate by using those words, to the extent possible. Remember, in my opening remarks, I talked about the bottom line of oil marketing companies is to make money. But in making money, do it the right way. Deal with the licensed people. If somebody is coming to you with a truck labeled door to door, right, and does not have a license for transporting fuel, why are you giving that customer of yours such a fuel? Where is it going? So if we could do hygiene as oil marketing companies, you say, no, but if I don't, he will go to my competitor and then fill from there. So I got my appeal number 3. Again to the oil marketing companies, report, quote unquote, bad boys. Those that are putting a bad name to the industry. Don't feel shy. That, I mean, I would be thought that I'm the one reporting so and so. But if that person is bringing a bad name to the industry, and in so doing, your name is also being tainted, report, so that we can be able to know how to move. Appeal number 2 to the local governments. There are 2 appeals I have. One, similar to the oil marketing companies, please adhere to the standards. Because even from what the colleague has said, you find a single pump, which we have never licensed, but is having a trading license, meaning that at the local level, it is known and you have okayed it. Please let's adhere to the standards. We went through consultative methods and said, no, physical planning is a reserve of local governments. Kindly adhere to those things so that we can be able to build hygiene in the industry. Number 2, appeal against the local governments is collaborate in cleaning up the bad boys. Because some of those might be your voters, they are your relatives, but collaborate in cleaning up those what? Those people. And if you think that because maybe these ones you know is something else, then let us know. and we deal with them from afar. Not you that saying Councillor X is the one doing that. Then for us, we shall come from the center. And so collaboration is very important. Number 3, our enforcement officers, which include part of my team, but more especially the security. One appeal is that we should be able to enforce without fear or favor. That is my what? My appeal. If my members have brought to you a case, they have reported, filed a case, take your interest to see that that case progresses, because some cases have prosecution. Like Edward talked about the massacre case which we were able to resolve. Please, let's not have cases piling up in different places. Or you find that, okay, after the transfer of DPCX, now this file is missing. DPC does not be transferred with those files. They leave them at those places. So let us enforce without fear or favor. To colleagues, and I'm coming to the last, number 2 areas really. One, colleagues, let us not relax. I'm talking about my members and people from the central government, from UNBS. Let us not relax. We have to keep on keeping on. Number 2 is to stay alert and vigilant, because, and innovative. Why we must be alert? The industry is always looking for new avenues of how to circumnavigate and do something so that they can get quick gains also out of it. So let us stay alert to the new trends and whatnot, and be innovative to counter them. Finally, to the citizens or general public, to be there. If somebody was there the whole day and had no customer, tomorrow he will have to do what? To think of something else. So we need to be vigilant. We need to avoid any suspicious characters. Thank you very much.
Let's take on another batch of questions. Esau, pass out the microphone.
Once again, my name is Edith, the district chairperson, Kiriandongo. I want to appreciate this very rich knowledge that we have got in this awareness creation. And it makes me, especially when we had the last presentation with a demonstration of oxygen, fire, and heat relating to safety. It makes me flash back on the retailers in the villages who keep bidomola and other things in the house. And of course, the business is managed by a family, children, women. I see a lot of danger in it. And on top of that, there is adulteration. There is also the issue of measure. Although it has not been mentioned here, because when I heard somebody saying, let us eliminate the single pumps. What about these people in the villages? Are they operating within the law What do you say about them? What should we do? What kind of information and caution do we need to pass to them so that we don't run a danger in the community? Thank you.
My name is Ukio Jasper Dale, the MD down on our fuel station located along Aloy Road. My humble request. I'm kindly requesting you to say something about the fuel color, because several times we have had complaint from customers that they prefer red fuel to these other colors. And even sometimes we experience now some colors being yellowish. And yet all these different colors here have actually passed your test, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is John Paulo Nye, Town Clerk Anaka from Noya District Local Government. I want to thank the chairperson, the district chairperson of Kiriandongo, because she raised one of the issues I wanted to raise. Mine, the first one now, is on the trading license issues. In the past, when we are charging license on fuel stations, we would also charge for storage. As if this has now disappeared. Who is supposed to be charging for storage? As we speak now, IRAS has come in. And with IRAS, all the petrol stations along the same street will be charged the same rate. So what are we going to do now? The second issue is on adulteration, especially with paraffin. And the major reason is because the price of paraffin is low. As if the consumption of paraffin now is also reducing. Supposing we say we put paraffin at the same rate, very close rate to those products that can be adulterated with paraffin, so that nobody is tempted to say, by mixing it with paraffin, I gain more. The third thing is when I come across a thief at the pump attendant, and I notice that the pump is actually running and the fuel is not going in, how should I go handle this situation? Is it possible for me to complain to the pump attendant and he sorts me out? Or I go to the manager? Where should I go? Do I even have a remedy? I think these are my issues. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Omar Musa Abdu. I work with Nile Energy Limited, gas. A colleague has raised a concern about fuel color. Challenges we face at the station that these kind of small stations outcompete us in. We always confront with the standards set by UNBS. We get challenged in the color. These customers here, they believe fuel which is red is the best. And we who have the standard by UNBS and our colors are not at very red, they reject us. Now challenge comes in that these people who are single pumps in the villages, they find a way of getting the chemicals that make their fuel red. My question is this chemical in the open market by UNBS, or there is a legal way they get it? Two, about adulterations. I am very sure that the UNBS team move across this country. When you are in the fuel truck transporting fuel all the way from Malava, you'll find along the highways, there are people with jerrycans on the way. This very truck stops there. They sip on fuels on the way. When they reach somewhere, they buy paraffin, they top it up on that truck to make the quantity reach at the session according per delivery. Now, we get challenge is this fuel will come the right quantity. It will have even the UNBS seal, not tampered with. But when you check the density, you find it is not within the range of UNBS. So how do these people get the same seal even when they have sold fuel along the way? Is it on the open market as well? Because the same seal, you find it is confronting with the same document he has come with. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Let's take from the officer here in the middle.
Yes, yes.
And then...
Thank you so much. My name is Regan Magombe, Superintendent of Police, DPC Nwea District. I take the opportunity to thank the various presenters who have presented. In fact, this engagement has really opened some of our eyes because we thought otherwise in the operations and regulations of these fuel people. One, I have an observation about what the commissioner presented in line with police. In most cases, you realize that these operations, the enforcement, that is always carried out in the districts. Even the police officers themselves are not informed. You find UNBS is taking on, or the Minister of Energy is doing that, but we are not aware of that. So I would suggest that in enforcement, we could work as a team and we see how we can coordinate and collaborate to make sure that we hinder this. Then the other thing is about the contaminated fuel. In my district, so far, I've registered about 2 instances of contaminated fuel. But you ask yourself, is this an intentional thing? Is it a system-generated thing? Maybe the equipment themselves are damaged, or it's an intentional issue that is being done. Recently, we went to a certain petrol station that I won't mention here, and we realized the fuel was full of water, okay? Full of water. Because we bought fuel of about 50,000, but I think there was only fuel of 20,000 that was fuel. So we need to work on that also and see how we can regulate. Then the other issue is about, I may provide the petrol station when you ask me in private. Then the other issue about the accidents, the fatal accidents by these fuel transporters. I followed up on about 3 instances where we registered such accidents, but I realized it's more or less like what the commissioner mentioned. It's an issue of demand versus the supply. Worse. These people are diverted from one point to another. Don't we have any measures in place? Because I realize even some trailers still import from Mombasa direct to a fuel station. Don't we have reservoirs that maybe we can have such trailers boost the reservoirs, then these fuel stations buy from the reservoirs to avoid that stress of movement? Then the other issue is about the enforcement and compliance that someone mentioned here. We have a challenge in that. And I think such engagements are going to open a way on how we can coordinate, collaborate, and see how to supervise these people. You mentioned that at least once in a month, your team must be in a district. But these people have different skills of doing things. These fuel owners, they have communication within you people that an operation is going to be in a certain place at on a certain day. So they go on and rectify their systems. Okay? By the time you come, everything is perfect? Don't we have other avenues? Can't we engage, can't we go to the grassroots and try to empower some people? Because at the moment, we have systems like the District Security Committee. Most of the people here who are here are part of the district security committees. Can't we have a session with them? We empower them so that they know what they can look at, they can, and try to regulate on our behalf as we are still the other side. Then lastly, it's about the statistics that a gentleman also mentioned here, that Eastern had the worst compliance. It was non-compliant compared to the northern part. But you realize also there is a lapse in the supervision. I've been in Noya for some time, but I've not seen anyone to come and do the supervision, okay? I've not seen anyone from UNBS, neither Minister of Energy, coming to do the supervision. But people are crying of contaminated fuel. People are crying of less fuel being provided to the pumps, by the pumps. So there must be some bit of lapse in the supervision. And I suggest, or I request that, work with our systems. Because like police, the systems are already set. Work with our systems. Let's have engagements. Let's have MOUs and guidelines that you can share with us, and we see how we can support in your absence. Thank you so much.
Let's take one more here, and then we respond to that batch.
I think next.
Before we lose track of your inputs.
Thank you very much. I'm Ayo Fred from Kwale District. I do retail fuel in Kwale. I'm a developer of a petrol station. I have a few questions to ask. I deal in fuel, and I feel I'm trying to follow the right procedure to reach where I'm going. They mentioned here that the requirements are there needed. I started by consulting the district, and they approved my plan. That one, I have a copy, and I have the plan approved. But then here comes when they talked of Minister of Energy asking for the permission, the permit. For me, I see like this other thing has come after, because NEMA gave me a certificate and they told me to go ahead with my operations. But today I'm hearing the permit is also needed from the Ministry of Energy, of which I was also informed by my consultant that I can start the process. And I think I'm also starting. So I need clarity there. Now that we're operating, what can we do? Another thing is about the trading licenses. It is clearly stated here that when you are selling fuel only, you're not supposed to be charged anything. But I pay trading licenses every year. And they normally give me very exorbitant figures, but I complain that there is nowhere to run. About the location of the fuel stations, or filling stations, for example. If I put a filling station, for example, near a school, is it bad? Because they mention here that public places like hospitals, but I did not hear about schools. Thank you.
Let's respond to, before we take on the